Here is the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport in Ice Cap. We got a refresh after so many years of needing it. They did change the powertrain, so now you're getting a turbocharged or hybrid in which this trim unlocks both of those engines. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons. The problem that I have with the Tacoma and comparable rivals, in the front, you can get the new Heritage grille when you go on the new Trail Hunter. Projected LED headlights, daytime runnings, and fog lights. And we also have the XP package, which is only optioned in 5 states in the US, which is Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. What does it do? It gives you these 18-inch matte black TRD wheels. The side will get the badges blacked out with the XP. Running boards, they're the Predator style. The rear gets the Tacoma badging blacked out, as well as the X Series badge on the lower right, and we're getting a blacked out exhaust tip. So it's gonna look more sporty, especially paired with this Sport Performance hood that's housing the new iForce turbocharged inline 4-cylinder that produces 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque, paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. You're gonna have up to 11 inches of clearance, but the eyesore, like I've said in a few of my reviews, is this lower part. It looks retro. I just wish it was not there because it makes it look like your clearance isn't as good as it should be. Optioning this over the SR5, you're gonna dump those leaf spring rear suspension, and you're getting a multi-link suspension. The front is gonna be a double wishbone coil spring setup. So they have altered the suspension, so it's going to be a little bit more of a smooth ride. Achieving 20 mpgs for the city, 24 mpgs for the highway. This is the front wheel drive. So now you're unlocking 6,400 pounds of towing and over 1,440 pound payload. So now for the day in and day out job, you're getting it taken care of. A configuration of a 5-foot or 6-foot bed, unless you go into the Hybrid Max, and then you can only option a 5-foot bed in this tier, which is going to lead me to some cons right off the bat. Once you start going up the tier, you can only option hybrid powertrain. So when you're looking for the TRD Pro, that's the only way you can do the configuration. And then we have the new Trail Hunter, which kind of takes the position of the TRD Sport in my book, because you're gonna have bronze wheels. It's gonna look a little bit more off-roadsy, and that's what the TRD Sport is meant to do. And when you go to the Hybrid Max, you're gonna lose towing, payload, and only being able to option it with a 4-wheel drive, which obviously makes sense because this is the type of vehicle you will be doing some off-road performance with, and you could tackle it. But then it leads me to the next problem. It's a turbocharged and a hybrid. Is the engine to these going to be as strong as the prior gen? Because these are known to get 500,000 to 1,000,000 miles. And going against rivals, Ford, it's going to be able to tow more payload, so a little bit more capabilities. This is going to be better for off-roading capabilities, and going into Chevy or GM, it's going to be the same tier in which they're going to be the best at those capabilities. LED taillights, and the lower is going to receive the spare tire tucked underneath with a reverse camera, and a digital rear view mirror becomes standard on the limited trim, and the Trail Hunter will get the ARB steel rear bumper, and the recovery hooks will be in red, and the TRD Pro will get the multi-terrain select with crawl control and downhill assist control with a reinforcement rocker protector. But a pro is when you get the XP package, the exhaust tip is going to look similar to the TRD Pro. Soft release that goes into 60.3 inches long. 20.2 inches is the depth. Between the wheel well housing at 44.7 inches, and LED bed lights, and we got the rails here. Cloth seat upholstery with 2-way power adjustment for the driver for the lumbar support, otherwise 6-way manual adjustment for the front. This is the trim that you can option. Heated front seats and the soft tech seats, also heated and ventilated seats, can be unlocked with an optional digital rear view mirror. Headroom. and leg room. The refresh gets a little bit more space in the interior. We get the Tacoma badging with a little bit of a storage nook right here. 10 speakers we have option because standard is an 8 speaker with an 8-inch infotainment with the optional 14-inch display which we have here. This thing is humongous. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, and we get a reverse camera with full trajectory. It's so in your face because of the configuration of this vehicle. Going into a climate control, which you can option dual climate control on this tier, and optional wireless charging pad, which we don't have either. 2 USB ports, 12 volts, the grab handle, TRD badging with the soft tech right here, and we have some driving modes that will go on to the 12.3 digital reader, which is optional on this trim. And you have Sport, Eco, and Normal. And I put the key fob in this little hole here because I don't know what else you can use it for. Push button start gets the TRD badging, and it's going to be more sporty. Opens up into a deep storage pocket and a leather wrapped steering wheel, multi-function. And going back to the gauge cluster, you can go through an array of information for the driver, and you can change out all of the settings as well on all sides. So I like how they have given you the configuration to change any of this and also put valid information like your pinch and roll. This is the 2x4, so I don't know if you're going to be using it too much for off-road capabilities, but you still have it there. The dashboard and the door panels configuring together, and I like how they give you the Tundra style for the armrest. It's going to be more of that everyday materials, TRD badging yet again. 2 tiers of storage, and I like the grab handle, and you can option a moonroof and an optional rear window, which we do not have. And the TRD also gets the grab handle on the A-pillar. And before we go to the back, you just pull this lever here, and you can fold these seats down flat. You have a little bit of storage behind them. Put this back up, and you can do the same thing for the bottom, in which we have a divider, and I like this waterproof divider as well because if you have anything that spills, obviously it's not going to dirty the interior of the new Tacoma. Going inside, use the grab handle and those Predator running boards, TRD badging on the door, and we're going to get USB ports. 12 volt is an option. Cup holders here in the center, no armrests. Going back to the door panel, you're going to have 3 cup or bottle holders, and you got a little area here, not only to use for the grab handle, but maybe for a smaller phone. It's just this, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Sliding into the center, you're gonna have to share some beat space because I don't wear a size 5. The rails are kind of pushed up enough, but in shoulder space isn't too bad, but it's still going to be a bit tight, and headroom is also going to be questionable because I'm at 6'3". 278 horsepower out of the new iForce inline 4-cylinder turbocharged with 317 pound-feet of torque. This is the absolute sweet spot for the Tacoma because you can option features and you don't have to go up to the TRD off-road if you don't want to go to the next tier, because they do have a lot of different configurations in this model. I'm not a huge fan of the auto start stop, but I do like turbocharged engines, but the naturally aspirated V6 is also known to go 500 to 1,000,000 miles, which turbocharge, I mean, you let me know what you think in the comments about them. The interior is well appointed. It's soft, it's more quiet. You sit up higher because you have up to 11 inches of clearance. And there's just a lot of traffic. And now that it's eased up, turn radius at a stop point, it's a long vehicle. It's gonna get about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It goes, and it has a different type of exhaust note that comes out. The key fob did fall on the ground because I put it on that little holder there that's underneath the TRD push button start, which I don't know what you would put there. I mean, maybe some change. Can't really put anything else. It feels good. I mean, the suspension has been tweaked, so the ride is a lot better. The steering is a lot more light. We also have Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, so you're taken care of with that. It will also apply the brake for you when you're getting close to a vehicle. Plus you got pedestrian, cyclist, rear cross traffic, blind spot monitoring. The TRD Sport unlocks a lot of goodies. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros, when you get to this, it is the trim you want to go to. The pre-runner is okay, but if you want to unlock pretty much every single thing, more or less, even getting the hybrid powertrain, this is where you go. Interior, it's a lot better, the design layout, plus you have a lot more storage cubbies throughout and a lot of areas that you can put for your cell phone. On the con though, you do have to option quite a bit of features to make this vehicle what it is, and then it starts moving the price quite high. And the big problem that I have ultimately is this is known for an off-road variant, but if you want to get all the off-road goodies, you're talking close to Tundra money. And I get it, this is off the Tundra platform, but it shouldn't be right at the same price as a base Tundra, because that vehicle has more capabilities than this. Another con is they still haven't really addressed the back seat. It's very tight for leg room. We don't have any vents. You have to go up tiers or pay for upgrades in order to get a 12-volt charger back there. And then up here with this large screen, I mean, it's a big eyesore. It would be nice to just be right implemented into the dash, especially considering that they have reworked this dashboard. You would think that since they're gonna add this, that maybe they would put the configuration similar to, I hate to say Lexus, but where they actually have buttons on the infotainment screen and it's configured in the dash. It would have looked a lot more cleaned up because they did such a good job polishing off the interior otherwise with storage, capacity, and even comfort itself. So much more quiet. Not a big fan of the enlarged infotainment screen. It is huge. It's like a big TV screen put in the center. I'd be fine with the 8-inch. Road noise will filter in a little bit, don't get me wrong, but it is so much more improved. I used to have to nearly scream when I would do a review. Going against comparable rivals, Ford is going to outclass it in a lot of your day in and day out use. Same thing with Chevy and GMC, they're actually the best in class. And when I'm thinking this is all new on the 4th gen, why didn't they go that extra step, going a little bit above and beyond? Because they changed the whole powertrain. They could have done the same thing with all of the capabilities and given a sweet spot deal pricing, because now you're really hovering over a 50 grand price if you want to get a sweet spot truck. And that shouldn't be the case, considering the Tacoma was always known to be a affordable or economical truck, similar to the Nissan Frontier. But then when you go into the Nissan Frontier, that's going to have the most heavy steering. The interior will be the most sealed up there. The interior will be a little bit more comfortable. I like the performance hood. I like that you get options. I just wish that they would kind of configure it with some packages similar to the XP package, where you actually get some value with it. You're getting the upgraded wheels, the black aesthetics for all the badging, you're getting the tailpipe blacked out. So when you're configuring things like that, I don't mind spending a premium, but if I have to tailor each individual item, it's going to adjust the price a lot more so. And looking at the prior gen, which we have right in front of us, I mean, you can see a huge difference from the rear. The fenders flare out, the taillight assembly, the bumper setup, it just looks a lot more cleaned up and yet versatile. And you can see what they're doing with the old gen. They're actually using it. And that's why I like the Tacoma opposed to most of these pickup trucks that are comparable rivals. Most of the time people don't even use them for what they're meant to be. But when you go into a Tacoma, people actually utilize them for off-road capabilities and a daily use. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Gettle Stadium Toyota for giving us this 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport for our car review.